Today in our continued series on free enterprise with the Florida Chamber of Commerce, we are joined by John Hage, CEO of Charter Schools USA and a member of the Florida Chamber Board of Directors. Charter schools have been a big topic in Florida's education scene. In fact, just last week, a Leon County Circuit judge threw out a lawsuit challenging multiple education reform efforts in Florida, with charter schools being one of them. John, let's start here. For those that may not be aware of the nuanced differences, exactly what is a charter school?
Well, a charter school is a public school, but it's an independently run public school that is done by a private nonprofit organization that actually applies for something innovative, different, and better than what the traditional system might provide, something uniquely tailored for students that don't necessarily fit in an existing school. So these schools are set up so that they can do something different, better, but also more accountable. So they get a charter, which is a contract, under a school district in the state of Florida. And in return, they have to do accountability. They have to provide, things that they wouldn't traditionally get in the school system, as well as do something better. And that traditionally looks like innovations, things that the parents benefit from, but mostly the students academically.
Let's take that a step further. Why are charter schools then so important inside of a given community, and why do they remain an important resource for Florida students?
Well, at the end of the day, the charter school movement started with the idea that the parent deserves a choice in where their child goes to school. And we know that about 10% of parents choose private schools, but often that's based on economics and the ability to afford that. But a traditional public school, usually wherever you live, the zip code you're in, is what dictates where you go to school. The charter school allows for students to go to the school that is actually best for them, maybe the curriculum or the size of the classroom or the uniform policy or whatnot. So these are the things that are uniquely designed and that give the parent the choice and the student the custom education that will best fit their learning style and the results that they're looking for.
John, 16% of Floridians live in poverty. So let's talk about the role charter schools play in creating greater economic opportunity.
So charter schools actually serve a greater number of students at risk and of low income than the traditional system. And that's probably mostly because the parents that are seeking alternatives for their children are desperate and hungry and looking for something where that child may not be succeeding in the traditional system and not being challenged enough, or maybe they're falling between the crack on a learning style or a different way of working with teachers or whatnot. And so what the charter school community has really done is focused a lot on where the need is, and that's where the parents and students are getting the most benefit, and we're proud to be a part of that. In fact, about 75% of the students we serve are, in fact, on free and reduced lunch, and therefore have the kind of economic needs that a charter school helps actually position them for the greatest ability to be successful in the marketplace.
You know, we hear from the Florida Chamber a lot about how education investments and economic development go hand in hand, John. We're talking to a lot of business people right now, a lot of business leaders. What is the importance of quality education? Why should businesses in Florida take interest in the education of, say, today's kindergartners, those 5-year-olds out there?
Well, it's incredibly important. In fact, the only real evidence of putting students at a young age into successful results later is education. All the other indicators end up being modified in some way, and only education can really turn a child into someone successful later in life. And so what we've seen is that in Florida, for example, that the students that are going through our charter schools have a much higher rate of graduation. In fact, we have a 96 percentile graduation rate and 94 percentile of those going on to 2 or 4 year colleges. These are numbers that are just, very, very high relative to the regular system. But we're also finding that the difference is for the employer. I mean, there's two benefits, really. One is that the employers oftentimes work with these charter schools and they support them and they get involved in starting them in their communities. But also they get the benefit of getting highly educated workforce that's coming out, interning with these businesses, and ultimately going into colleges without the remedial education that's needed, and then ultimately graduating and coming and working for the vibrant companies across Florida.
Well, as we started, the Florida Chamber believes free enterprise principles are key to our state's success. Tell us, what does free enterprise mean to you, John?
Well, I think it's two things. One is it's the way that, in fact, we designed the model. So Charter School USA is a company just like any other. We started with one employee and a little investment. Today we'll have about 9,000 team members serving about 80,000 students in 85 schools around the country. And our base here in Florida has been a tremendous, place to begin this company and grow it. At the same time, it's really about how we educate students, making sure that students today have the critical thinking skills, that they have the economic understanding and the literacy around true free market enterprise, and to be able to grow into the kind of jobs and opportunities that we require in a democratic society. So, free markets really benefit when we have free minds and people that are capable of educating students in a way that they can come up and take ownership of their future.
John, great visit today. Thanks so much for your time.
Great to be with you guys. Thank you.